Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yad Kinchit Sacharacharam Tatparam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mahabhajivya Piya Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatparam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sarva Shruti Shiroratna Virajita Padam Bhuja Vedantam Bhuja Surya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Shashvata Shanto Yomatito Niranjana Bindunana Kalatita Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnana Shakti Samaruda Attvamala Vibhushita Bhukti Mukti Pradata Cha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Aneka Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidayine Atma Jnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shoshanam Bhava Sindosha Japanam Sarasampada Gurur Padodakam Samyak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Na Guru Radhikam Tattvam Na Guru Radhikam Tapa Tattva Jnana Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Manata Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Radhiranadisham Guru Paramaderatam Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Mata Japita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusha Sakat Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Ravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Mata Japita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusha Sakat Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Ravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva.
Sri Vishwananda, Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev, 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Narayana, Sri Vishwananda. Premavatar, Sri Vishwananda.
Narayana, Sri Vishwananda. Premavatar, Sri Vishwananda.
Narayana, Sri Vishwananda. Premavatar, Sri Vishwananda.
Vishwananda.
Narayan Narayana Sri Vishwananda. Narayan Narayana Sri 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 Vishwananda.
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Narayana Sri Vishwananda. Premavatar 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Sri Vitala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha.
Shri Vitala Giridhari
Parabrahmane Namaha. Sri Vitala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha.
Shri Vitala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha.
Sri Vitala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha.
Shri Vitala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha.
Sri Vitala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha.
Shri Vitala Giridhari Parabrahmane
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Narayana Sri Vishwananda. Premavatar 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 Sri Vishwananda.
Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda. Avatar Shishai Namah, Om Vishamai Namah, Om Devakari Samujatai Namah, Om Sukshmatanave Namah, Om Chimayai Namah, Om Guru Murtaye Namah, Om Sundarai Namah, Om Sulochanai Namah, Om Sumukhay Namah, Om Charuhasai Namah, Om Keshavai Namah, Om Padam Bhujai Namah, Om Mandagamanai Namah, Om Charumbardarine Namah, Om Ramai Namah, Om Mandir Stapakai Namah, Om Sri Bhutabhrteshwarnath Namah, Om Gayatri Ajvane Namah, Om Arpana Svikarakai Namah, Om Vishnu Pujakai Namah, Om Namo Narayati Mantrapastakai Namah, Om Swaramayai Namah, Om Madhura Kantai Namah, Om Krishna Sankirtana Lolupai Namah, Om Sutra Priyai Namah, Om Ita Bhashine Namah, Om Vagmine Namah, Om Chitrakala Visharadhai Namah, Om Vratadharai Namah, Om Sadhave Namah, Om Jagat Panthai Namah, Om Sarvalokahitai Namah, Om Bhakta Priyai Namah, Om Surdai Namah, Om Anukulai Namah, Om Neyai Namah, Om Sudarshanai Namah, Om Bhakta Vatsalai Namah, Om Prema Murtaye Namah, Om Shubhekshanai Namah, Om Pritivardhanai Namah, Om Swastidayakai Namah, Om Tarakai Namah, Om Anugrahai Namah, Om Vardhanai Namah, Om Architai Namah, Om Arthai Namah, Om Siddhi Pradai Namah, Om Janardhanai Namah, Om Manoharai Namah, Om Mahakshay Namah, Om Sileshwarai Namah, Om Bhasmabhushitai Namah, Om Atmalingai Namah, Om Yagachana Prasakai Namah, Om Siddhi Sadanai Namah, Om Madhavai Namah, Om Karupasakai Namah, Om Sukshmai Namah, Om Vishokai Namah, Om Satvikai Namah, Om Samadarshine Namah, Om Dakshai Namah, Om Achintyai Namah, Om Niramkarai Namah, Om Nirmohai Namah, Om Avyagrai Namah, Om Chitakrutai Namah, Om Vinay Shivai Namah, Om Swamashai Namah, Om Kushalai Namah, Om Shambhai Namah, Om Satyadharmai Namah, Om Nirvikalpai Namah, Om Viraktai Namah, Om Atindrai Namah, Om Satyasanghai Namah, Om Pavitrai Namah, Om Madhura Swabhavai Namah, Om Suranandai Namah, Om Nandanai Namah, Om Prasanatmane Namah, Om Bhaktanidaye Namah, Om Sakshaye Namah, Om Samatmaye Namah, Om Sadayogine Namah, Om Haraye Namah, Om Sutapai Namah, Om Somyai Namah, Om Bhuyai Namah, Om Vimutatmai Namah, Om Gabhirai Namah, Om Guptai Namah, Om Atmaramai Namah, Om Srinivasai Namah, Om Devai Namah, Om Yutidharai Namah, Om Dhanyai Namah, Om Gurave Namah, Om Guratikramai Namah, Om Gahanai Namah, Om Bhagavate Namah, Om Harisharana Margadarshakaya Namah, Om Kutasya Jagatakaaya Namah, Om Abhiprayaya Namah, Om Sarvamata Samatyaya Namah, Om Shamaikata Bhavarnakaya Namah, Om Premavatar Sri Vishwananda Swami Namah. Ato Deva Avantuno Yato Vishnu Vichakrame Pretivi Sapta Dhamabhi Idam Vishnu Vichakrame Tredani Dade Padam Samudamasya Pagum Sure Trini Pada Vichakrame Vishnu Gopa Adavya Adho Dharmani Narayane Vishnu Karmani Pashyata Yato Vritani Paspase Indrasya Yujasaka Tat Vishnu Paramam Paragum Sada Pashanti Suryaya Devi Vachakshuratatam Tad Vikraso Vipanyavo Jagruvagum Sasamindate Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam. Premavattaraya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayat. Premavattaraya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayat. Premavattaraya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayat. Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada Govinda. Om Bhurvasva Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasva Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasva Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Vishnu Madhusudana Ketavare Narayana Achyuta Trivikrama Chakrapane Detyadri Sarjadhara Sridhara Vasudeva Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Rukminisha Bhavanasha Hare Murare Radhesha Gopesha Surupa Brahmadi Vandya Shri Dvarakashraya Vaikuntha Pate Bhuvane Kamurte Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Nina Kirtena Matarupa Varahamurte Devi Gamaya Guhane Purarama Rama Shri Rama Krishna Yagunandana Kalki Rupa Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Govinda Madhava Mukunda Parataresha Damodara Dharananda Kadari Chori Gopa Gopi Jana Sambrita Dina Bando Gopi Jana Priya Hare Tava Suprabhatam Vishai Bhujagadi Patal Pasai Sad Bhakta Iksadana Shai Ramangashai Shri Gopa Bhama Mridutal Pasukadi Shai Gopa Vallabha Hare Tava Suprabhatam Shri Kasyapatri Sukhanarana Gotamadi Brahmarshi Sangamani Sangava Bharatesho Ishtanti Devatava Darshana Vadyayeto Gopala Sekara Hare Tava Suprabhatam Mandara Jadi Tulasi Dalamallikade Malyani Anjali Pute Samuda Haranti Tishtanti Padmavatadara Kale Munidra Radha Manohara Hare Tava Suprabhatam Vedatayam Patati Gautama Kanaguya Gayanti Sadguna Gano Varada Savarga Sankirtayanti Tava Nama Kada Vishesha Shri Narada Radhadirashaya Tava Suprabhatam Govardhanodharana Gopa Kishora Gopa Gopi Janamrita Subesha Bhava Vipotam Trilokya Mohana Sumangala Divya Deham Sri Rukminisha Varada Tava Suprabhatam Sri Vatsachina Sharanagata Parijata Bhaktarti Panjana Kripa Karadina Padam Dityanta Gayati Janapriya Divya Rupa Shri Nanda Gopatanaya Tava Suprabhatam Padmaksha Padma Mukha Padma Dhara Prameya Padma Layasra Heva Padma Nivasa Shori Padmo Bhavati Sura Sevita Pada Padma Padma Dhinata Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Vindata Devi Haranaya Mahendra Vandya Kandarpa Darpa Haratinya Sudesha Rupam Chandra Nanaya Siddha Chandana Ripna Deha Govinda Yadava Hare Tava Suprabhatam Srinanda Nandana Yashoda Kumara Dhira Maya Gadina Davichona Supushpahara Nilam Buddha Susharira Rama Vihara Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Mansijam Bhavati Satya Sugandhi Badram Shri Mitra Vindra Divasa Prabhu Putrika Dhyaye Tishtanti Divya Bhavameta Vasevanardam Gopi Manapriya Hare Tava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Achyutananda Mukunda Shori Radha Manohara Janardana Chakrapane Namani Divya Munayurna Nisham Badanti Brahmi Muhurta Samaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Suprabhatam Ye Patanti Arnisam Bhuri Kritan Mahapapa Shri Krishna Graha Hetukam Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Chintamani Prakara Satma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrahma Sevyamana Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Panantramaravinda Naraya Yaksham Tatavatassamasitam Buddha Sundarangam Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kala Sadvana Malya Vamshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Keri Kala Vilatsam Shamam Tribhangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dani Yasya Sakarendriya Vritti Pashyanti Vanti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Satujvala Vigrahasya Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayuvanam Cha Vede Bhaktishu Durlabhamadurlabhamatma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Fantasto Koti Jatavatsara Sambhavanyo Vayo Ratapi Manaso Muni Pundavanam Saukastya Prapada Simkira Chintya Tattve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopya Sora Chaitum Jagadanda Kotim Yajagtirasti Jagadanda Chayaya Danta Adantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Bhava Bhavitayo Manujasareva Sampratya Rupa Mahivassanayana Bhushaha Shuktiryaneva Nidama Pratitesnuvanti Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi Tabirya Eva Nijarupa Taya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Lochena Sankassadeva Hidayeshu Vilokayanti Yamshama Sundarama Chinkatuna Swarupa Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amenatishta Nanavatara Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Svayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhato Jagananda Koti Koti Shashishya Vasudhani Vibhuti Vinam Tattva Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Maya Yasya Jagadanda Satani Sute Trigunya Tadvishaya Veda Vitaya Mana Sattva Varambi Parasattva Vishuddha Sattva Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasatmataya Manasu Napraninam Pratipadam Smaratamupetya Vinayitena Bhuvanani Jayadhyadashram Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Golokanamini Jadamni Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridama Suteshu Teshu Tete Prabhavani Chaya Vihitaschayena Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shrishti Shriti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chaye Vayasya Bhuvanani Vibhati Durga Ichana Rupa Madhyasya Chatesha Tesa Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Chiram Yatha Divikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Naitata Pratigasti Hekto Yasham Bhutam Apitata Samapeti Karya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham samana dharma yastagde eva icha vishnutaya vibhakti Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yakaranana vajale bhajati smayoga Nidramananta jagadanda saroma kupa Adhara shakti navaram vyaparam svamurti Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yasyanta vishwasamalambya Jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatraha Vishnu mahansaya yasya kala vishesho Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Tasvamya tasva shakaneshu nijeshu teja Sviyam piyatra katayatya pitadvatra Brahmaya esha jagadanda vidana karta Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yalpada pallamayudam vinidaya kumbha Tandrim pranama samaye saganadiraja Vignam vihantu malamasya jagatrayasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Agni mahi gaganamambo marudishacha Kala satatma manasiti jagatrayani Yasmat bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti amcha Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yachakshuresha savitas sakala grahanam Rajas samasta suramurti rashesha teja Yasya gnaya brahmani samprita kala chakro Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Dharmo tapapa nichaya shrutaya stapamsi Brahmani kita pataga vadaya sajiva Yata tamatra vibhava prakata prabhava Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yasvindra gopa matavendra mahosvakarma Bandhanurupa parabhaja manatanoti Karmani nidahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yam krodha kama sahaja pranayadi viti Vatsalya moha nurugam ramasevya bhavahe Sanchintya tasya salishintanurapurete Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraham Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
So, Jai Gurudev, on Friday mornings, we always worship the Divine Mother, and now we chant from the Veda, from the Shruti, 3 famous pieces. So you find on the page 57 the Sri Suktam, which is worshipping Mahalakshmi as the source of wealth, inside and outside wealth. followed by the Bhu Suktam, which is praising Mother Earth with her patience. And finally, the third one, small one, is the Nila Suktam, where Gurudev has said she is kindling the fire of devotion, the sharp focus on the Lord Himself. So it is Guruji's wish that if you want to chant also the Veda, then we all stand up together. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Hiranyavarnam Harivim Suvarna Rajatasraja Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Mahavaha Kamavaha Jatavedo Lakshmi Manapagamini Yasyam Hiranyam Vindeyam Gamashvam Purushanaham Ashvapurvam Rathamadhyam Hastinadak Prabodhinim Shayam Devi Mupakvaye Shirma Devi Jushatam Kamso Smitam Hiranya Prakaram Ardram Jwalantim Triptam Tarpayantim Padme Sritam Padmavarnam Tamiho Pakvaye Shayam Chandram Prabhasam Yashasa Jalantim Shayam Loke Devajushtam Udaram Tam Padmininim Sharanamaham Prapakye Lakshmim Hinashyatam Tvam Vrane Aditya Varne Tapasoti Jato Vanaspatistava Vrakshota Bilvaha Tasya Palani Tapasanudamtu Mayantaraya Shabaya Alakshmi Upeto Mam Devasaka Kedishcha Manina Saha Radhurvutosmi Rashtresmin Yetyam Riddhim Dadatu Me Shakti Pasamalam Jeshamalakshmi Nashayam Yaham Abhutim Cha Sarvan Nirnudami Grihate Gandhadvaram Durarkarsham Nitya Pushtam Karishini Ishwari Gum Sarva Bhutanam Tamiho Pakvaye Shayam Manasakka Mama Bhutim Vachas Satyamashemahi Pashunam Rupamannasya Mahishi Shayatam Yashaha Kardamena Praja Bhuta Mai Sambhava Kardama Shayam Vasayame Kule Mataram Padmamalini Apasrajantu Snigdhani Chiklita Vasame Grihe Nicha Devi Mataram Shayam Vasayame Kule Ardram Pushkarinim Pushtim Suvarnam Hema Malinim Suryam Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Mahavaha Ardram Yakkarinim Yashtim Pingalam Padma Malinim Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Mahavaha Tam Mahavaha Jatavedo Lakshmi Manapagamini Yasyam Hiranyam Prabhutam Gavo Dasyo Shvan Vindeyam Purushanaham Yashichit prayato bhutva juhuyatajamamvaham Suktam panchadasharcham cha shrikamasatatam japet Padmapriye padmini padmahaste padmalaye padmadalayatakshe Vishvapriye Vishnumanodakole Tvatpada Padmam Mahisannidhastva Mahadeve cha vidmahe Vishnupadye cha dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi prachodayat Om Shanti 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 Bhumir Bhumna Jauvarinantariksham Mahitva Upastete Devyate Teknimannadamannat Yayadane Ayanto Prishnirakrami Dashanan Mataram Punaha Pitaram Chakrayan Subaha Trigum Shaddama Virajati Vakatanga Yashishraye Pratyasya Vahadyubihi Asya Pranat Apanandyantascharati Rochana Vyakyan Mahishasuvaha Yatva Akrita Paruvapamanyona Yadavartya Sukalpamakne tattava punasto dipayamase Yakte mamyoparobhasya prithivi manudatvase Aditya vishretatdeva vasavascha samaparanna Manujyotirjashatamah cham vikcham nam yajnyagam samimam dadatu Bruhaspatistanutamimam no vishve deva ihamadayanta Medini devi vasundara Syad vasuda devi vasavi Brahma varchasa pitrnagum shotram chakshurmanaha Devi hiranyagarbhini Devi prasuvari Sadane satyayane sida Samudravati savitri hano Devi mayangi Mahodarni Mahogatishta Shange Shange Yajne Yajne Vibhishani Indrapatni Vyapini Surasanidhiha Vayumati Janashayani Shayam Dharaja Sakyandho Parimedini Shoparidatam Parigaya Vishnupatni Mahim Devi Madhavi Madhavapriyam Lakshmi Priyasakim Devim Namamajjatavallabham Danudharayet Vidmahim Sarvasiddhye cha dhimahi Tanno Dhara Prachodayat Om Shanti 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 Neelam Devi Gum Sharanamaham Prapatye Granadhi Kritavati Savitaradipatyai Payasvati Rantirashano Astu Druvadisha Vishnu Pagnyagora Sishana Sahasoya Manoda Bruhaspatir Matarishvotavayus Sangduvana Vada Abhinogranando
Vishtampo divo tarunah prithivya asishana jagato Vishnu patni Mahadevincha vidmahe Vishnu patni cha dhimahi Tanno Nila prachodayat Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Agnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmelitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Gurudev. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. We need some awakeness. So happy Nirjala Ekadashi Day, one of the favorite days of all the devotees of the year, because you get to fast not just from food, but from water also, if you want to. So also, happy Gayatri Jayanti. Today's you could say Jayanti is the birthday of Gayatri Devi, but in many ways, often it is related also that Gayatri Jayanti is let's say the birth of the Gayatri Mantra, which is revealed by Vishwamitra through his practice, his sadhana. He received the Gayatri Mantra and he received the Gayatri Mantra. Yeah? So the Gayatri Mantra obviously is one of the most powerful and complete mantras in creation. And of course it is also one of the most known, right? It is, practiced by maybe not all, but most Hindus in various ways. You could even think about that the Lord himself received the Gayatri Mantra, no? Sri Rama received the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra has big significance in our life in general. And seeing Gayatri Devi, she has, or generally, she always has, is depicted as with 5 heads, right? These 5 heads, they have different meanings. Of course, you can say they are related to the 5 elements. You can say they are related to the 5 different energies or pranas. You could say they are related to the 5 aspects of knowledge. But there's many different varieties of symbolisms you can use for what each of these heads stand for. I guess if you have the vision of Gayatri Devi, you can speak to each head separately and ask what these heads stand for. I guess most of the time there's a symbolism that we contribute or attribute to it. Another a nice kind of meaning that I found is that it represents the 5 stages of purification or inner purification on the path of bhakti. So the 5 heads can stay for sense control, for emotional purification, for a steady mind, for knowledge of the self, and the realization of the Supreme. So it's the 5 inner purifications that we go. So it's sense control, emotional purification, to have a steady mind, knowledge of the self, and realization of the Supreme Lord. So whatever you may attribute to it is always a reminder in a way of the same thing. Gayatri Devi, for me, is a very special deity that maybe I don't think of every day, even though I chant the Gayatri Mantra 3 times every day. She is the representation of knowledge. Like it shows here, knowledge on various aspects. it is not, she's the Devi of the Vedas, whatever. No, what is knowledge really for? It is to bring you inward, to help you to realize that Supreme. And of course you could say, yes, but knowledge will not bring me to the Supreme. But even Krishna says, it is only through bhakti that you receive the knowledge through which you get to know me. No? Chapter 18:55. It is only through bhakti, bhakti mama bijanati. It is only through bhakti that you receive this knowledge. And so, yes, superficially you could say, yes, book knowledge, scriptures is great to purify. But you can see even on the 5 heads, yes, book knowledge is important. Why? Because it purifies your senses. And it purifies your emotions. And it helps you to become more steady in mind. No? The first 3 heads of Gayatri. So if it helps with the first 3 heads of all 5, that's already a lot. No? And so knowledge has a great significance. And it is not limited to scriptural knowledge. Knowledge is also experience. No? And so, for me, Gayatri Devi is a very sweet aspect of the Divine Mother. She is the universal aspect of the Divine Mother, or the Mother of the universe, sometimes, cosmic Divine Mother. And so, even though she has all of those qualities, even though she is so special, and yet she always, at least here, she doesn't like to show herself. She likes to be in the background. Where's Gayatri Devi in the temple? She's hiding. She's right at the entrance. She's the first deity you probably see when you come in, if you want to see her. Because you can walk very easily past her also. No? She's hiding in the corner. And so she's like this subtle form of the Divine Mother that hides but still sustains everything. So, obviously, for me, when I try to reflect on what it is that Gayatri Devi is, or where she is present, or was present in my life, it is actually in many places. Like I said already, through the daily practice, in daily worship and in daily puja, we worship her every day, no? She was also, personally for me, she was the deity that, I don't know if you can say it like this, initiated me as a Swami. She was literally the deity that I was holding on my head, and Guruji was doing Abhishek on her, because it was after Gayatri Yagna. Gayatri Devi is also the presiding deity over any vow that you take in life. And so when I took brahmachari initiation, for example, Guruji said, actually, when you break your brahmachari vows, you offend. It is not like it's Gayatri Devi that you offend, actually. Because she's the protector of the vow. She's the one who resides on the janeo, no? Which represents the vows that we take. The same is with marriage. No? Grihasthas traditionally wear also the janeo. So if you take marriage vows also, it is also Gayatri Devi who resides over that vow. So even Guruji said once, if you have problems with upholding, or if you don't have enough strength to uphold the vows that you've taken in life, you can pray to Gayatri Devi. She will give you strength, right? And so, just because I reflected on this some days ago, again, I wanted to speak a little bit on vow. From my perspective, obviously I will speak of it as a brahmachari, but it's not limited, those qualities that I'll speak about is not limited to a brahmachari. You can understand it in whatever life context you are in. So, just to say that in the beginning. So when Guruji allowed me to become a brahmachari 19 years ago, I remember, and I never actually told this story before, it was kind of funny, because we are all meant to do some things in life. Sometimes we know it, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we wait for many years to find what our Dharma is, and sometimes it just arrives at our doorstep. And I cannot say that I worked hard to find my Dharma. I didn't. Because I became brahmachari when I was 13. I didn't do great things in my life to earn it or whatever. And I cannot say also, like many people, and I always advise it to everybody, to be very conscious when you make commitments, whether it's marriage, whether it's brahmachari, it doesn't matter. To be very conscious and to take enough time to consider it wisely. Because to take vows, or even like you can see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, throughout the Bhagavatam, if you give a word, it is binding. And to break one's word has great consequences. Great consequences. Not to somebody else, to yourself. No? It has most consequences to yourself, to break your own vow, your own word. Because even if you look at on a microscopic view, if on a daily basis, right, if I say, today I will do this, and yet then you don't follow up, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you don't follow up what you said I will do today, what happens? Psychologically, inside of you, you break your promise to yourself. It's nothing to do with anybody else. And so the one thing that happens is you stop trusting yourself. You stop trusting yourself because you see, I cannot uphold what I tell to myself. No? So I cannot even trust myself. And we do this so many times in our daily life, right? With small things. With small things every day. We're like, I will do this, and then you don't do it. No? That's why to make any vow, to give any word, I think is very important that we take conscious awareness of the promises, the vows, and even the words that we speak, because they have great significance, not about anybody, but for our own self. No? And yes, sometimes things can change. Sometimes you could say something is God's will. That's something else. But we should always do our best to have that in our consciousness or our awareness, let's say. For me, it was very different. And I actually never shared the story before, the pre-story. So in 2005, late 2005, Guruji decided to have the spiritual order and initiated the first brahmacharis. And even though I could not be there, my parents went, I could not be there because we had school. This idea of being a monk, it was somehow an instant, there was something, let's say. There was something where it felt, maybe. It sounds like it feels right, no? I didn't think about it in depth, but there was a feeling. Funny enough, it was a few months before, I was very much in love with a girl. And it was, I mean, you're like 12 years old, whatever that means, but like it was like for a year or something, and like I was always very shy, so I didn't want to ask her out or something, And it was funny because one day, just before summer holidays, her best friends came to me and said, "Oh, you like her?" Huh? And I guess I became a bit too obvious or something, I don't know. And so they said, "Yeah, you should ask her. She likes you too." And so I put all my courage together and I wrote her a letter. That's what he used to do. And she replied that she's not interested. And I was like, either they were just taking the piss, because I guess her friends know what she likes, or there was something else. So of course I was hurt. And then luckily there were summer holidays, so I could take some distance. And for some reason, it was very easy for me to let go of it after some time. It was very easy somehow to accept, right? Because I knew Guruji already, and in some way, I really felt that for whatever reason, Guruji is doing something. And so literally 3 months later, Guruji announced that he will make the first brahmachari. Or actually he announced it then, but then he initiated him. And then I had this feeling, but like I said, I never remember thinking about it. The next thing that I remember is I'm standing in the rain on the end of December for the Darshans outside of Guruji's house, waiting for him to come for Darshan. And I asked Guruji, can I be your brahmachari? And first, Guruji's reaction was, he turns to Partha and he starts laughing. It's like, hey, he wants to be brahmachari, it's so funny. And he turns around and again he's like, you're serious? And I said, yes. And he said, did you ask your parents? And I said, no. And he said, I think you're a little bit young. And I said, why? And so he said, okay, let's see, kind of, So he went for Darshan, and later there were some other conversations with him, and he said, yes, you can be brahmachari. And I remember after the Darshan, so he told me this during the Darshan. So I remember after the Darshan, I was serving dinner for people, giving out the soup. And it was literally, I think it was the most joyful moment in my life. Not remembering him saying that you can be brahmachari, but giving soup to people. And I don't know where it came from and why, but I have rarely felt this bliss inside of me. And literally almost every single person that walked by getting soup from me, I was like, you look different. You look radiant. What happened to you? No. Almost every person was like, something is different. And I actually could feel it inside of me. So I actually became brahmachari 6 months later because Guruji said, oh yeah, you're too young, you have to wait. And then he said, okay, you have next time. Because Guruji said, no, not now, later, after he confirmed. And then he initiated Vanamali, who was like 1 year older than me. And I was like, she's not 18. And he said, okay, next time. So I had to wait 6 months until the next time, basically. And so I remember just before the initiation on 3rd of June, 2006, he took some of us who were going to be initiated, and it was just random, middle of the day, and he collected us, and he said with Pankaj and me, actually, he went into the, we had like in Stephansville, we had this like kind of smaller than Kali temple, like garden hut with all the tools and things. So we were sitting on the floor with Guruji in the middle of the gardening tools, and he sat down, he was explaining in detail, like what does it mean to be a brahmachari? And of course my English wasn't that great, but I think we understood each other. He was learning German. He was kind of explaining a mixture of English and German. And he said quite a few things. I don't know how long it was, maybe an hour or so. But, he said, first of all, he said is about the importance of making a choice in life. Because he said, we can only do the best in the moment that we make choices. We can never know what happens, no? And he said, when you make a commitment, like becoming a brahmachari, it is a commitment for life. And he said this has to be very clear for you. Because also you're very young. You're not like 78. It's a difference, no? This has to be very clear for you. Because it can also mean that in 5 years or in 10 years, you feel different. And then you have a choice. Do I stick to my vow or do I do something else? No? It doesn't mean you get condemned if you break your vow, but there's consequences to everything. And this has to be You have to be aware of that. No? And he said, actually, there are 4 principles that are important for us as a monk, as a brahmachari. You could say that applies to everybody, but no. So the first principle, and the most simple one, is to live a life of material simplicity. Material simplicity, to only own, to only have what you actually need. You can say that's a debatable topic, but as a principle. Second principle is obedience. Obedience, you could say, is a miniature version of Sharanagati. To, on a daily basis, try one's best to live according to the will of God and not to your own will. To the will of the mission, and to the will of the Guru. Like he said recently, in a very nice way, he said you should never say no. No? The responsibility of a brahmachari, yes, is to be obedient to the Guru, but it is also to always say yes for any seva that is required, that is asked for. Yes, you could say that's for every devotee, but the brahmachari is the first and foremost example of always striving to do action in seva, to serve tirelessly. Because love, we always say, is expressed in action. Love is not quiet. Love is not lazy. Love cannot stay unexpressed. Oh no, that's the right English word. It cannot stay inside. You have to express it. Love has to show. No? If you love somebody, you have to show it to them. You have to bring them flowers. You have to bring them sweets, whatever they like. Not because you have to, because you want to. So seva for a brahmachari is not a responsibility, it's an honor. Actually, not even an honor, it's a normal reality. To do seva should be like, I brush my teeth in the morning. I eat sometimes. It's the same thing. I do seva. No? It's a normality of life to serve. Right? Brahmachari means to focus your mind on the Supreme. No? To have a fixation on Brahman, on the Supreme. That is what the literal term brahmachari means. And seva is the expression of that no matter what I do in my life, I do to serve Him. Right? You can say, I love God, but if you don't show it, what do words mean? Right? So, simplicity and obedience. The third one is discipline. Discipline is also, if not one of the most important qualities of a devotee, of a brahmachari. Discipline in everything that we do. Discipline of mind, discipline of action, discipline in everything that we do. Discipline, we always connect to something straining or negative in a way. Because like, oh my God, I have to discipline myself. I have to discipline. Discipline for me means continuity. Discipline means to do something every single day. And you can say, yes, that's sadhana. You can say that's X, Y, and Z that we do in action. Discipline of the mind. Disciplining the mind to be focused on God. Brahmachari. No? To fixate on God is a discipline. No? That's what Krishna says is the way on how you detach from material objects. It's to continually discipline your mind to look at God, to see God. Upon seeing Him, your attachments will naturally be removed. Right? And the fourth one, I have to go a bit faster maybe. And the fourth one is self-restraint. You could say that self-restraint, discipline are the two most important qualities of a devotee, of a brahmachari. Because to be disciplined of mind, you also have to practice self-restraint. It doesn't go separately. It goes one by one. Self-restraint, I would say, is also one of the greatest qualities that one needs to learn in nowadays world in general. Because it is very difficult to be a monk in nowadays world, to be a brahmachari in nowadays world, to be a devotee in nowadays world. It is very difficult. It is very difficult because this world is designed to distract you from God. It is so fast-paced, and distractions are literally in every corner, and they are in your hand and in your pocket so easily. No? And that is why Guruji keeps reminding, do your japam, listen to the satsangs. It is not that we should not use those things. No? Social media is amazing because you have access to all of the YouTube satsangs or satsangs on YouTube, on Instagram, whatever it may be, of Guruji. No? Guruji tweets every single day, live commentary of Guruji's teachings. Every day. It's amazing. No? But it is also so easy to get distracted very quickly. The line is so thin. And the only control factor that you have is yourself. Self-responsibility. No? Nobody will check you, probably. No? It is up to you to not choose what you want in your life, but to decide what you want in your life every day. It is not taking a vow once, 20 years ago, and then thinking that will do everything. It will do nothing for you if you don't choose to be what you want to be today, and you choose it again tomorrow. That's why we get up every single morning and we chant the mantras that Guruji has given to us. To not take for granted that, yes, I am a devotee, yes, I'm a brahmachari, I get to serve in the temple, I get to serve my deities. No, I ask you for your permission to allow me to serve you again today. It is to be grateful every single day for the life that we have. It is not something random. It is not something that is cheap. It is supremely special. And we should treat it that way. Right? So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in Canto 3, there's across various chapters the teachings of Kapila Muni to his mother Devahuti. And I've spoken about them many times. We just did a 5 Elements retreat last week, and I used Canto 3, chapter 26, 27 as a basis, besides Guruji's teachings, obviously, on the 5 Elements, because it's a description of Kapila Muni, of the chronological creation, or how creation happened in a chronological way, right? And so after Kapila Muni closes this chapter on speaking about creation, he answers more questions. And so in the following chapters, he actually speaks about what is it that an ideal human being has in terms of qualities. And then he speaks about what are the qualities of a devotee, of a bhakta of the Lord. And so this in chapter 29, and there's many verses, but I chose verse 18, and I just wanted to give 1 or 2 examples from verse 16 and 17. So this is Canto 3, chapter 29. And so he says, the devotee should regularly see my statues in the temple, touch my lotus feet, and offer worship and prayers. He should see in the spirit of renunciation from the mode of goodness and see every living entity as the same. But all his activities should be executed under regulation and with control of the senses. And in verse 18 he says, Atyatmikanushravanam nama samkirtanascha me ajavanerya sanghena nirahang kriyaya tata. A devotee should always try to hear about spiritual matters and should always utilize his time in chanting the holy names of the Lord. His behavior should always be straightforward and simple. And although he is not envious but friendly with everyone, he should always seek the company of saintly people. So he gives very direct and very clear instructions in terms of what a devotee does and how a devotee behaves. And he makes it very simple. He makes it sound very simple. But there is deep knowledge behind it. Spiritual, but psychological also. Not because, yes, we always like to think, yes, we should love everybody equally, etc. No? But he says a devotee should always look for the company of saintly people. And we hear this several times in the Bhagavatam. And that is very simple. Yes, we should, see everybody equally. We should love everybody. But it is also very dangerous if you are not strong enough, and I think none of us is strong enough, if we don't have the right association around us, right? And that is why Guruji also, and yes, maybe that is sometimes not seen as the greatest guest-friendly experience, but he says so often, I don't want my brahmacharis to smile at people. I've heard this many times. Too much. Smile too much. Especially not at the other gender. No? So if you're Mataji and you see Prabhu's brahmacharis that don't smile at you, it is not because of you. It is because of the choice they made in life and because of Guruji's request. It is not that they don't respect you, it's not that they don't love you, but it is a brahmachari ashram. It is an ashram where brahmacharis live predominantly. And it's not that we don't, and from my own experience, especially in my experience in many countries, the level of commitment that grihastas have is sometimes so much more than brahmacharis. And I can say this in a shameful way, but it's incredible. We have absolutely insane devotees that are grihastas. Incredible, no? I'm just saying it's a choice of life that you make. I remember a time when Guruji said, all brahmachari prabhus, whenever you speak to a Mataji, you have to look at their feet. It was the most weirdest 2 weeks of my life. And then it kind of disappeared, no? Every single time you speak, I could not look at this corner of the room, no? I should only look at the floor, no? Because association, if you're not strong enough, it will awaken desires. That's why it is sometimes in some scriptures said that brahmacharis should not even relate to grihastas or hold children or babies. They should not play with children because it might awaken samskaras or desires. No? Yes, we are not so strict. But it is important sometimes to understand oneself. It is not as a public thing. It's to understand if you have taken a vow and you know you're not extremely strong in yourself at this moment, you should utilize tools that will help you to stay strong to your level best. No? And so if you're brahmachari and you have taken a vow and you're not in a good place, especially then, force yourself to go to prayers, force yourself to look at the Mataji or Prabhu, whatever it may be. Do X, Y, and Z, because there are things that you can do and you should do to be safe. No? And as I said earlier, to be a brahmachari, to have focus in life, it is a responsibility. And in the traditional sense, a sannyas is supported by grihastas not for nothing, but for a purpose. It is to uphold the faith. Because if, as Guruji explained, that if a sannyas attains moksha, attains realization, every single person who helped that person become realized will get great blessings. Might even get realized themselves. No? And so as a brahmachari, it is not that we go for prayers, for example, for ourselves. Actually, it is our responsibility to go for prayers, to pray. Because it is like Guruji said, Mahalakshmi herself is squeezing out the grace of the Lord's feet. It is our responsibility to be in prayers here every single day, to squeeze out the grace of the deities to be distributed in the world. It is not only we get punya from going to prayers. We get karma from not going to prayers because it's our responsibility. It is our duty to focus on God, to do our duty as a brahmachari in this world is to renounce from the world and to give grace to the world by that faith. It is a responsibility of a grihastha to be in the world but not of it. No? You could say it's no difference. The devotee also has to focus on God. No? But a material responsibility is very different. No? The focus on God is the same. Jai Gurudev.
Jagadish Hare. Tavatara Kamalavare Nakambhuja Shringa Darita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsimha Dev Narsimha Dev Narsimha Dev Jaya Narsimha Dev Jaya Narsimha Dev Narsimha Dev Narsimha Dev Jaya Narsimha Dev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Bhakta Swarupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Bhakta Swarupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatindraya Karunakaraya Mangala Mangala Me Yatindraya Karunakaraya Mangala Mangala Me Prapati Dharmika Rataya Mangala Mangala Me Prapati Dharmika Rataya Mangala Mangala Me Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Saligrama Pratisthitaya Mangala Mangala Me Saligrama Pratisthitaya Mangala Mangala Me Vigandadharini Godagrajaya Mangala Mangala Me Vigandadharini Godagrajaya Mangala Mangala Me Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Rangesha Kinkarya Rathaya Mangala Mangala Me Rangesha Kinkarya Rathaya Mangala Mangala Me Mannataya Dharini Dharaya Mangala Mangala Me Mannataya Dharini Dharaya Mangala Mangala Me Ramanuja Rama Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tumako Nishadina Sevaka Tumako Nishadina Sevaka Hara Vishnu Vidata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tumama Brahmani Tumahi Jagamata Tumahi Jagamata Surya Chandrama Dhamata Surya Chandrama Dhamata Narada Rishigata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Durga Rupani Ranjani Sukha Sampati Data Meya Sukha Sampati Data Jo koi tumako dhamata Jo koi tumako dhamata Riddhi Siddhi Dhanapata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tumapatala Nivasi Tumahi Subhadata Meya Tumahi Subhadata Karma Prabhava Prakashi Karma Prabhava Prakashi Bhavani Dikitrata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Sagarne Tumarati Sabasad Gunaka Meya Sabasad Gunaka Sabasambhava Ojata Sabasambhava Ojata Manana Hingavarata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tumapina Yajnana Ote Vastrana Koi Pata Meya Vastrana Koi Pata Kana Panaka Vibhava Kana Panaka Vibhava Sabatuma Senata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Subhaguna Mandira Sundara Shiro Dadi Jata Meya Shiro Dadi Jata Ratna Chaturdasha Tumadina Ratna Chaturdasha Tumadina Koi Nahi Pata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Mahalakshmi Ji ki Arati Jo koi Jana Gata Meya Jo koi Jana Gata Pura Ananda Samata Pura Ananda Samata Papa Uttara Jata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Jaya Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tumako Nishadina Sevaka Tumako Nishadina Sevaka Hara Vishnu Vidata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Jaya Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tumako Nishadina Sevaka Tumako Nishadina Sevaka Hara Vishnu Vidata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Eva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Shasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravina Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityarma Mritaham Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om प्रेम से बोलो श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की श्री भूतभृतश्वरनाथ सिंह भगवान की राधा कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की महावतार की अबाबुज की श्री रमणाचार्य की प्रेम से बोलो सद्गुरुदेवा श्री स्वामी विश्वानंद महाप्रभु की कृष्णाय गोविंदाय गोपी जनवल्लभाय पराय परम पुरुषाय Parakarma mantra yantra tantra ushadasa sasrani samrani samrani mrityor mokshay mokshay. Om namo bhagavate mahasudarshanaya dite charapritai savajik shubhana om pat parasme parabrahmane paramjyotishe swaha. Om shanti shanti shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Govinda Gopika Jivan Smaranam Govinda.